Tonight's news focus, Kursus Perdana Haji Southern Zone prepares Sarawak Pilgrims to Holy Land. Sarawak Premier continues tradition of Berjarah Raya. KWB, SWB and LAKU Amalgamation in final phase. Good evening. Prospective Sarawak Pilgrims for the 1446 Hijrah 2025 Masihi Hajj season receive an injection of enthusiasm and knowledge throughout the Kursus Perdana Haji Southern Zone held at the Jamic Mosque Berjarah on Saturday as an important step before performing the holy pilgrimage to the Holy Land. The ceremony was officiated by the Sarawak Governor, Tun Pein Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, with his wife, Toh Puan Datuk Panigi Fauzia Muhammad Sanusi, who also spent time interacting with pilgrims from Kuching and Sri Aman. The course organized by the Tabung Haji Board is the culmination of the Hajj Guidance series provided each year, aimed at providing in-depth understanding, practical training, and spiritual guidance to pilgrims before departing to Mecca. It not only provides guidance on the implementation of worship, but also involves health briefings, travel management, and etiquette in the Holy Land, which are important elements to ensure the well-being of pilgrims throughout their stay in Mecca and Medina. On that occasion, Tun Pein Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi expressed his appreciation for the high commitment of the Tabung Haji and prayed that all matters of the pilgrims would be facilitated and that they would have a successful Hajj. Meanwhile, Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Abdul Rahman Zohari Tun Dato' Abang Openg, together with his wife Dato' Ama Jumani Tun Tuanku Bujang, continued a tradition of Berjarah Raya in conjunction with the Hari Raya Aidil Fitri at the residence of the Deputy Minister in the Sarawak Premier's Department, Project Coordinator for Regional Development Agencies, Kuching North City Hall and Islamic Affairs, Dato' Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi at Jalan Sultan Tengah here on Sunday. The arrival of Dato' Patinggi Abang Zohari and his entourage at 10:50 a.m. was warmly welcomed by the host, Dato' Dr. Abdul Rahman and his wife, Datin Siti Shorgaya Ahmad Zaidin, at their residence compound. The visit reflected the spirit of brotherhood and camaraderie that continues to be fostered among the state leadership in conjunction with the Aidil Fitri celebration. The cheerful and friendly atmosphere was also enlivened by the presence of family members and close acquaintances. Dato' Patinggi Abang Zohari then continued his Hari Raya Aidil Fitri Open House visit to the Sarawak Ministry of Utility and Telecommunications Aidil Fitri Open House with Agency Ceremony 2025 at the Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching. The open house visiting continued on to the final destination, which was the Aidil Fitri Open House Ceremony 2025 of the Setakan Kota Semarahan Assemblyman Dato' Hamzah Ibrahim at the Setakan Service Centre at 2 p.m. This Aidil Fitri visit is part of the annual practice of state leaders in strengthening their relationships with members of the administration and the local community. The Sarawak government is now in the final phase of merging the three water utility agencies, Kuching Water Board, KWB, Cebu Water Board, SWB, and LAKU Management, Sindrian Berhad, into a single, more efficient and structured entity. Minister for Utility and Telecommunication, Dato' Sri Julahi Narawi, said the merger is one of the state government's strategic moves to streamline water supply management and enhance service delivery efficiency for the people across Sarawak.
Dan kita sudah mempunyai nama bagi entiti yang berkaitan dan ianya dijangka akan dilancarkan secara rasminya pada bulan Jun depan. So this is the final station. So meaning that ketiga agensi air tersebut akan dijadikan satuan.
He said this when met at the 2025 Hari Raya Aidil Fitri Open House hosted by the Ministry of Utility and Telecommunications Sarawak along with its agencies held at the Borneo Convention Centre Kuching, BCCK, on Sunday. However, he clarified that the Rural Water Supply Department, JBULB, is not yet part of this consolidation exercise. This initiative is in line with the Sarawak government's goal of establishing a more efficient water supply system, particularly to ensure consistent and quality services for residents in both urban and rural areas. In a related development, Datuk Sri Julaihi also revealed that the Sarawak government now holds a majority stake in Sakofa Sdn Bhd through its wholly owned investment arm, SFS Incorporated. With a shareholding of over 51%, Sakofa is now a fully state-owned agency, enabling the company to take on a greater role in expanding telecommunications infrastructure, especially in rural and remote areas.
Namun pada masa yang sama, SMS masih juga menjadi sumber. Jadi oleh itulah maka ada sedikit perubahan dari segi pengurusannya. Sudah bermula tetapi akan kita lakukan sedikit masa lagi. Tetapi dari segi pengurusan yang sudah berubah ialah dari segi komposisi lembaga pengarahnya dan seterusnya kita akan melihat di mana kita perlu perkasakan pelabuhan Sakofa.
The event was further enlivened by the presence of Sarawak Premier, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Abdul Rahman Zohari Tun Datuk Abang Openg. The occasion also saw the Premier presenting Duit Raya contributions to 82 children from the Sarawak Orphans Welfare Board of Laila Type Welfare Complex. In addition, he presented a cheque worth 3,000 ringgit to the Sarawak Orphans Welfare Board as a mark of the state government's continued support for the welfare of the underprivileged. Earlier, the Sarawak Premier, accompanied by his wife, Puan Sri Dato Ama Jumani Tun Tuanku Bujang, paid a visit to the residence of former Batang Lupa Member of Parliament, Dato Sri Rohani Abdul Karim. Over 4 billion ringgit has been allocated to implement the Flood Mitigation Plan (RTB) project throughout Sarawak this year as part of the government's concerted efforts to address the frequent flooding issues that plague the state. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Energy Transition and Water Transformation, Petra, Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof, said the large amount reflects the government's commitment to strengthening drainage infrastructure and building effective flood mitigation system for the short and long term.
Overall, I think kami orang dapat about 4 billion. Majority untuk tempatan banjir.
Ya, untuk tempatan banjir di kawasan itu aja ya?
No, seluruh
Sarawak.
untuk tahun untuk bajet tahun untuk lah 2025.
He explained this when attending the Jiwa Community Madani and Media Program in Kampung Segedup, Kuching on Sunday. Among the areas identified to receive benefits include Kuching, which is set to begin 3 phases of the RTB project at a cost of over 2 million ringgit, with similar projects planned in other districts such as Miri and Sibu. In the executive talk session with the Petra Minister, Datuk Sri Fadilah also informed that 19 projects related to water management have been approved under the 12 Malaysia Plan 12 MP, involving a total cost of 2.17 billion ringgit. The scope of these projects include flood mitigation works, coastal erosion prevention, river estuary dredging, upgrading urban drainage infrastructure, as well as river water restoration and treatment. 4 projects have been completed, including RTB Sivu Phase 3, RTB Stakan Kuching, and several flood control and coastal erosion initiatives in Kampong Hilir Oya. Another 9 projects are in the pre-implementation phase, while 6 are currently being implemented. This large allocation is expected to significantly reduce flood risk and bring long-term benefits to the people of Sarawak, especially in areas prone to disasters. Good news for all Sarawakians, there will be no increase to the current electricity tariffs in Sarawak, assures Deputy Minister of Utility, Sarawak Energy and Petros, Dato Ibrahim Baki. The Sarawak Energy Berhad chairman said this was in spite of rising electricity production costs due to the increasing prices of raw materials as well as labor and equipment. According to him, members of the public have also been asking whether electricity tariffs in Sarawak will be increased, given that rates in Peninsula Malaysia and Sabah have already risen. In response, he gave his assurance that as long as he remains chairman of Sarawak Energy Berhad, SEB, and the minister responsible for the utility, he promises that electricity tariffs in Sarawak will not be increased. He made the remarks when officiating the Hari Raya Aidilfitri gathering for Satok Zone 1 at Dewan Dato' Haji Jumani, SK Rakyat Jalan Haji Bol Hassan on Saturday. The Satok Assemblyman also emphasized that Sarawak currently has the lowest electricity tariffs in Malaysia and the region, and that these rates will be maintained. He said his administration will find alternative means to absorb rising production costs and advised the public not to worry about an increase in their electricity bills. At the same time, he also shared that Sarawak is working towards increasing its electricity generation capacity to 10,000 megawatts, in line with the vision of Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Abdul Rahman Zohari Tun Dato' Abang Openg. He expressed gratitude that Sarawak has access to hydroelectric power from the Bakun and Murum dams and soon from Baleh and Batang Air as well, all of which are green energy sources. He reaffirmed the aspiration for Sarawak to become the battery of ASEAN in the future. On a related matter, he clarified that Sarawak has no intention of taking full ownership of its oil and gas resources, but only seeks a fair share of the revenue. He added that certain parties has misinterpreted statements suggesting that Sarawak wants to claim full rights over these resources. He stressed that Sarawak does not aim to compete with Petronas, but instead wants to see Petros and Petronas working in tandem. The Sarawak Public Communication Unit, UKAS, continued to strengthen strategic collaboration and interagency relations throughout its signature program, UKAS Making Connections Pickleball Edition on Saturday. Now in its third edition, this initiative brought together a diverse group of participants from Sarawak government ministries, agencies, government-linked companies, GLCs, and key UKAS strategic partners. The program focuses on fostering camaraderie and teamwork through the energetic and enjoyable sport of pickleball. UKAS Chief Assistant Director Anwar Hanafi Ardiman Shah, who represented UKAS Director Awang Putra Yusri Awang Redzwan, presented prizes to the winners. He explained that the program was designed not only to promote well-being and friendship, but more importantly, as a strategic platform to enhance mutual understanding and cooperation among agencies. He added that the initiative also helps nurture stronger relationships, build strategic networks, and encourage more effective two-way communication. And that's the English edition with me, Nicholas Zechariah Boni. More news can be found in our official portal, ukas.sarawak.gov.my, and social media platforms including Facebook and YouTube. We end the UKAS Bulletin with highlights from the 2025 Sarawak Ministry of Utility and Telecommunication Hari Raya Aidilfitri Open House celebration with its agencies held at the Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching, BCCK on Sunday. #Salaran Informasi Rakyat. Have a good night.